Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here, and today we're going to be talking about how to replace your factory sights on your HK, P30, P30L, P30SK, VP9, the whole gambit, with some night sights. In particular, here I have the Night Vision Precision Tritium night sights. They are fantastic. My Trigicons are dead to me. I'm going to do a review on these a bit more in depth and why they're awesome and just all the benefits to them. So check out for that video here separately, and let's get into it. Now, the HK sights, there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. They do glow in the dark, obviously not right now, but they are charged by, just photoluminescence, and they are very bright. However, I definitely do prefer a good old night sight here. And like I said, we chose the Night Vision ones. I'm gonna open these up here. So it comes with the sights, obviously. That. Close it up, put it off to the side. I usually keep these guys and just throw the old ones in there and then throw this in the box. That way you never lose them. Now you'll see on the bottom of these sights here that they do have like a little glue. That's actually the tritium vials. That's actually keeping them in place. So they are glued in there. This is a dovetail type sight, so you will need to drift it out. I did buy their little toolkit that they sell for like $20, but it is a really good toolkit. All in all, you get a really good little hammer. Nice knurling on it, nice little sanding block, which we might need, and everything you could pretty much need to get this done. Now, I chose the red front because I figured red, HK, and all that fun stuff. But in order to do this, you're gonna have to do one of two methods. One, preferably, you're gonna have to use a vise. I have my tipped-in portable gun vise here, which I'm going to use. But if not, you can do the old, take a little cloth, hold it there. I take this now. You see this punch is actually going to fit. I don't know if you can see. It's actually going to fit right on that dovetail. You're not going to ever put any kind of hammering or anything like that on this sight. What's going to happen is it's going to jip off, and then also you can actually fracture this or deform this. So it fits right in there. I like to put this. This is a non-marring punch. That's aluminum that comes with it, so it should be pretty fine. It might make some surface blemishes, but you can polish those right off. But you take this, hold this, kind of do a two-handed jig here. But you see I already slipped off. So this definitely isn't the most preferred method, but not everyone has a gun vise, although you really should. But you're going to kind of hold something like that and then give it a few rack-tack-tacks. I'm not going to do that, but if you're in a pinch and you just need something to work, that's one option to do. But hold on for a jump cut. We're going to go to the vise, give it a little bit of a higher up view. Hey guys, back again. Sorry, don't get sick with the jump cuts. But yeah, so this is the best angle that I could find that we could get. You can see there I started to just move the sight just a little bit to make sure everything was going simpatico with the whole vise. The whole vise thing, just screw it in, make sure it's nice and tight. It really ain't going anywhere. Of course, you can't bolt these down to your bench, but in this instance, just going to rock it with it live here. Fantastic little things. They're $50, Amazon. There's a link in the description to those tipped-in gun vise. It's fantastic for stuff like this, especially if you don't have like a garage, workbench, whatever. I just prefer just for out and about and pulling out when I don't have to go in the garage. So what I like to do is I usually drift to the left as far as taking them out, and then when I put them in, I do them in reverse order. That's just my personal preference about installing sights. You can do it however you want. Some very few do actually say you must install them this way. They go in this way, not out the other way. But they're far and few. So I'll take this little piece here. This is a non-marring aluminum punch here. It does fit perfectly inside the dovetail, but I still like having just that little bit of caution there. Now, you're going to want to really give it a whack. You're not going to, it's going to take some force. It's not just going to come out with a few love taps. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this with the camera in the way. I'm going to hold it. It's moving ever so slightly. And just make sure it's nice and firm inside there. And just moving ever so slightly. Basically, you're going to do that same procedure over and over again until it fully pops right out. But hold on, I'm going to do that real quick off camera, and I'll see you guys in 1 second. And there you go, guys. You can see there, minimal, joking, no damage at all. Punch does take a little bit of a beating, but and of course the cloth does as well, but we did get the sight off there. These are pretty good sights for the most part. Nothing wrong with them. They're metal. If you ever want to put them back, you just give them that little tight fit, and then you start punching them back in. But it does take a bit of finesse to get these out. And you can see there, it does fit in the drift, so you don't have any kind of marring. One important key when you're doing this, especially, is you don't want to just go perfectly straight. You want to kind of go down a bit at an angle. That way it keeps it from jumping, because it can jump up. And make sure you keep your taps okay, because you'll learn real quick if you hit your hand. Thankfully, I didn't. All 10 fingers. But with that said, you're going to then do the exact same procedure for the front. The front's a bit trickier, I will warn you, because you kind of need to use the edge of it. You need to hold it up this way because it won't obviously fit this way. And on top of it, if you skip, sometimes these can just shear right off. And same thing when you're doing the installation of the new one, and the warranty does not cover that. So just make sure you watch out for that. I'm going to take this front one off and another jump cut, and we'll do the installation of the other one. Hey guys, I just figured I'd give you a little sneak peek into this because the front sight's actually coming out a lot easier than I thought. So I'm literally just taking this little ratty-tatty cotton here, gonna hold it, taking the best edge that I can, anchoring it in that corner, giving her the old good whack. And like that, you can see, comes right out. Minimal scarring to the whole thing. Now you can't get sight pushers, but I prefer the old tapping method. So simple as that. Those are done. Now once you're done doing this, you're gonna want to make sure you clean the blades where the sight was. Make sure there's no grit, grime, anything like that in there. Now with that said, for these ones, for dovetails, I prefer just taking just the littlest bit of oil. Just helps it glide in there. Going to take my little handy dandy tool right here. Make sure it gets in those. Make sure it kind of gets in those blade grooves where it's going to go. And that's just really to help it glide across a bit more. Now, with that said, these sights in particular, they are made to be fitted, so they're not gonna, every gun is made just a little bit different. Everything's within spec, obviously, but one thing you're gonna want to know is, you see how as soon as I put it in, it's pretty much wedged, and there's barely any kind of percentage in there. So you want to pretty much get it to at least 50%. I would consider that being when this little edge crosses into that center line. So how are you going to achieve that? Pretty simple, actually. They give you a stone in their kit, and what you're going to do is, I'm not going to file it on top of the HK, don't worry. You just take a bit of oil, and then you take your handy dandy sight right here, and then you're going to, why it's not going there is because it's too tight between the lips. So you're going to take this, and you're going to put it on the stone. You're going to do, again, not going to really do it in front of the gun. You don't want the little metal filings. So you're going to take this, little circles. I know it's going to feel weird, but you just got to do that to decrease the tolerances a bit. Just want to take it down, file it down just a bit. Little circles, take it, wipe it off, get all that gunk off, because you're going to have metal shavings on you. Obviously, you don't want that going into the blades, so just get that nice and clean. There we go. Bring this back. Try to fit it again. And you're probably not able to tell, but it's fitting just a bit more, just a bit better. So we're going to keep on filing it down, but that's the general procedure you're going to do for the fronts. you're gonna do for the fronts and you're gonna do for the rears. So you're just gonna try to test fit it, see how it goes. Let's actually see how the back goes in. Back's actually not too bad, but we're just gonna do that same procedure there. Don't be afraid. You're just gonna small circles with the oil, and I'll catch you guys when we start drifting back in. Hey guys, as you can see here, I got it just fit into about the halfway point, where at least I would say where it's time to start tapping. Don't take any more material off, because you do want it to be a snug fit at least. One important thing I will say is make sure you clean off all the debris from the sanding stone once you're done. That way it just slides in pretty much effortlessly. But I'm going to drift this back in here. We're actually going to take the nylon and the hammer, and we're just going to give it a few taps here and make sure it's nice and in place. And then once it starts moving over, once we get past that edge, or if you like and you don't want to just tap it directly, you can take your bit here, cover it up, just hold it nice and straight. And if you want to give it a bit more wax, you can tap it with the metal end. But you see there, the vise is moving because I'm actually holding it once I'm doing this. A little harder with the gimbal. But just wanted to give you guys that real quick. I'll be right back once the front and the back are on, just for final adjustments. Whoa. Well, guys, I would not wish that on my absolute worst enemy. Holy bejesus. That was insane. So, a little bit of things learned here. Dovetails are the worst. They are the best. They stay firm. I'm OCD, so I err on the side of caution. I also err on the side of I'd rather have it tight as anything than loose as a goose, so it makes the fitting process a little bit more difficult, but I guarantee these things ain't going to come out anytime soon. That's for god dang sure. The good part is, though, at least once you get them centered, they're kind of in a free zone to where they can move just a little bit, so if you need to correct it, no problem. But that front sight was a dilly of a pickle, but you see here, I got them all lined up. I took the calipers and I just, measured the spaces on either end of it to make sure that it is perfectly centered. And if it isn't, then you can just drift it back over, but you really don't want to. You can see here the damage from the chisel there and just the general blunt force trauma that was occurring. It was definitely a difficult task, but something you can do. This is something that usually a gun shop might cost, they might say about, like $80, $79, something around there, unless you know a buddy who knows a guy. So for about the whole process here has taken me about an hour to do. So bargain rate for a gunsmith, $90 an hour. But I would rather do this, get the education of it, and be able to do it myself without paying the price of the sights plus an additional $90. It just takes a bit of time and effort and energy and all that fun stuff. But here it is, nice and lined up. You can see there has that little U-notch, which again I'll do a review on this here. But yeah, all said and done, guys, definitely a bit of a process, but no marring, anything like that. The most important thing I would say if you take away from this is take a little piece of cloth, something like that. You see that here, well, it looks like it went through hell and back in half of Georgia. But just take that, use that as a kind of a cover. If this does make any kind of marks, it's meant to be non-marring. It will leave like a little something, but all you do is literally just take a little oil, just give it a good little rub, and away it'll go. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I apologize for being a bit long here, but I hope it could be informative to you, bearing through my pain. And if you like the video, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. I'm going to go dunk my hands in some ice. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.